So that is how we're going to draft out this week. So today we're going to just do what is the concept of economics, and also macroeconomics, and also what is project evaluation, feasibility studies, and then on Thursday it's going to be more on the feasibility, the project evaluation tools and techniques, calculation tools and techniques, and some of the concept of economics that will be used in order to assess project. Okay, so everybody can hear me. Yeah. So I slept a little bit late last night, so my voice is a bit. I think it's very soft. I mean, I felt myself is very soft. So if you have any problem hearing me, just raise up your hands. Okay. All right. And anything else that I need to cover? Yeah. So this week is going to be purely on engineering economics. And then the last half an hour of the class will be purely on examination on Thursday. And if I can't finish the economics sessions, I think the max is another 20 to 30 minutes of pre-recorded lecture, which is about 3 segments. Okay, so that's how we are going to go through this week. And I hope that it's really going to be good for everybody. Like, besides assignments, everything has helped a lot. We're treating it very seriously, so that you can actually gain a lot of good marks. Even if you get 17 out of 25, or 18 out of 25, that is actually very good. At least you already gotten like almost 1/4 of the marks out of the way. In order to pass these exams, if your assignments and all that test marks does not add up to be 30 or more, then you may have some issues later on. If it's only 20 plus, you're going to be in quite a dangerous position. Okay, right. If you want to get an A, then you're better off if you get a 40 or 40 plus in the assignments, and also in the tests and all all whatever we've given you for the past whole semester, and then scoring another 30 out of 50 in exams. Okay, right. Okay, so let's get started. Economics. Okay. So you may be wondering why we need to do. Oh, let me share my screen. Sorry. Oopsie. Screen. Where are we? Share. Okay. So, okay. It's about, because why we should know economics, because we are actually being delegated with other people's money. If we talk about economics, if you define economics, it's actually a social science. Okay, economics is more under social science. It's sometimes, most of the time, of course, it's under business school. But when we talk about engineering economics, it's because we are actually, engineers is supposed to be dealing with private wealth and public fundings, and it's about the creation of wealth in the nation, and also creation of wealth for private individual. Okay, with your work, you see. So it's about dealing with other people's money, and if you're dealing with other people's money, you need to know the overall economics environment. So if I look at the definition of economics, okay, if I type, what is economics? Okay? If you do research, what is economics? Okay, so it's about, it's a production. It's a branch of knowledge that deals with production, consumption, and transfer of wealth. It's about prosperity. It's about particularly goods and services, which you as engineers, you are providing some of the major goods and services in the industry. If you build factory, you're going to be producing a lot of things for the economic environment. You're going to be distributing a lot of basic economics production goods and materials, and of course your direct engineering services is also part of it, and then the big products that you build, like in power plants, like like airports, like roads, like sewage plant, like water distribution, high level water tank, raw water intake tank. All these are water treatment plant. All these are very big facilities. Not only you use public funding, okay, you're going to be contributing back to the economy of the nation. Okay, it's about the movement of money. It's about people's life being better, wealth being created, and the distribution of that wealth is actually well balanced out in the all segments of the economy. And then if we talk about GDP, the growth, okay, it's an aggregate. It's like an aggregate. It's like a numbering for the many sectors of the economy. The economy, like manufacturing, like shipping. Like many different industry, and then many areas. Okay, you have the growth, and then it adds up to one aggregate. So we call it GDP. So GDP is like the growth aggregate of the country's economy. And do you know that engineering and construction always contribute to at least 10 to 20% of the general to the GDP of our country. So it means that the growth of the construction industry will play a part in the GDP of our nation. Okay, so you can see that as your role as engineers is so important. You are one of the wealth creator, and not only that, you are also being put to spend, and you're being delegated to spend a lot of other, not a lot, everything is other people's money unless you're building your own house or your own development project. Otherwise, you are actually using other people's money. Okay, so this is what we should be doing. What we should be learning. And that is on the macro level. Macro level is a very big, overall level. If we talk about more on a micro level, for us engineers, we are dealing with feasibility studies, project evaluation, cost benefits, net present values, depreciation. Those are more on the micro kind of level. But on the macro level, the very big concept is you must learn about the world economy. Okay, so these are something that I put up here in writing of some ideas of general economy in the world. I think some of these top things that we've written here is a little bit outdated, especially for the EU now, and British has already Brexit. Okay, and from Brexit that actually affect the EU, the rest of the European Union. And now, of course, for Southeast Asia, we cannot ignore. There's no way we can ignore the growth of China. Okay, and China economy is so huge. Okay, that no person in the right mind can actually overlook it and say, "Oops, I didn't see you. I'm sorry," kind of thing. It's just not possible. And do you know that with how many billions of people, I always can't keep track of how many billions that they have, and even a small town, not a small town, a third or second layer cities in their country, actually the population is actually more than maybe the whole Malaysia all add up. So can you just imagine that the street itself is so huge, their population, not to mention the whole country. And some people, there's a saying that says that if all the Chinese in China jump at the same time, like they all say 1, 2, 3, and the whole nation jump at the same time, in terms of physics, it will tilt the it will tilt the world axis by 0 point something, and it will tilt the world axis by some 0 point something angle. Okay. So you just imagine the level of greatness, and that is available there. And because we are in Southeast Asia, even though America economy is big, like EU, British, they are all big. India has a very big, huge economy there. But unfortunately or fortunately for for Southeast Asia, we share the South China Sea, and then we share the distance and the close proximity with China. So if we talk about Malaysia, even Sabah side, the nearness to the Hong Kong and Guangzhou, Shenzhen region is really close. So our economy is impossible not to be tied together. You see, so it's like a linkage that is unfortunately cannot be ignored or broken in that sense. In the 1970s, 80s, I would say Japan is really, really big, and then coming up in the 1990s, 80s, 90s, Korean was really, really big. They are all very close to us as well. But when we arrived at the 1990s up to this 2000 onwards, China economy has already been, they have fast forwarded about 200 years of growth in 20 years. It's just that these people actually fast forwarded as in they pressed the fast forward machine. That was so fast, and it started in Shanghai. Shanghai was the window to the world because it has always been very international. And then they started opening up to the world via Shanghai and with the Pudong region, and that was the creation of a new Shanghai with all the financial facilities, the security, like their share, what you call that, security agencies doesn't mean safety security, but means of their board of listed company, and all that, so those are all at that region. So it's one of the financial capital of the world at the moment. So yeah, and then you've got all the major international banks and players all around there. Okay, so they only started opening up in the 1980s, and I think Pudong region was started up in about 1990s, and it was so rapid, and it was like not even government funded, and it was like more of a government supported, government aided, government linked company that actually started the whole region and transfer people from the old Shanghai to the because of the growth, the housing and all the city planning and all that, so it was all being cleaned up. Literally, we call it cleaned up in just about less than 10 years. Okay, that is how fast things are. And Malaysia, we have got so much linkage with China at the moment. And a lot of you may be working for China-based international company who is actually based in Singapore or Malaysia. Okay, because our region is a very unique region, especially Malaysia and Singapore. We have that place. This is a place that speaks English, and it's also this region, like Singapore and Malaysia. We have a lot of people here that speaks Chinese as well. So it is a very nice international hub because of the way Malaysians and Singaporeans are being brought up. You are multinational. You have people who are Chinese educated. You've got people who are English educated. So the workforces and then of course we were under the colonization of the British. So many of us are very good English speaker, and that is very international. And many of our education systems was actually based on Cambridge, Oxford, and also all the British styles, and Singapore as well. Of course, Singapore is doing a lot better than Malaysia, okay, because of the administration over there. Yeah. So this region here, we are actually like a very, very unique region whereby we can actually understand a lot of people in a way, and we can do a lot of businesses and dealings with a lot of people, different type of people. So it becomes like a region of exchange, interchange, like especially Singapore is like an international cities that are interchange, between people, and all that. They have a lot of these foreign company who set up their Southeast Asian, or they set up their Asia Pacific regions offices in their country. And that same goes with Kuala Lumpur as well. So that's why for us engineers, we get a lot of opportunity. All these macroeconomics create a lot of exchanges in terms of wealth transfer for our people here for our profession here in Malaysia. Okay, so like I said, I would not be surprised you'll be working for a Chinese company from China when you graduate. And not only that, you may do a lot of work as a sub-consultant. Your company may do a lot of sub-consultancy work for international participants, and then you may be doing project here in Malaysia and or bidding for project in China or in other Southeast Asia country as well. So this is all business opportunity, and these are all where projects, and that equals to money coming in for your profession, you see. So that's why international economics is something for you to be very, very greatly aware of, And when we talk about economy in terms of macro, we're talking about national economic region, national, okay? So it's big in terms of that, but it's not so big that it is not related to you. So world economy and they are related to you. And there are some, these are some, just some write-up that, I have and read up, for all these times. Sometimes I update it, sometimes I don't, So some years it's been updated, some years it has not been updated. So you can actually take a read, okay? And just the purpose is for you to understand why why economic boom, good economic time, why the boom, why the bear will actually affect us as engineers in our project, because we are all a link, World economics are like chain, So when you have a boom, you have a chain reaction. When you have a crash, you have a chain reaction, and everybody will be affected because fundings will be affected, opportunity will be affected, business will slow down, like COVID, like it's international, it's globalization. Because of air travel, you cannot say that COVID is only contained in China. It doesn't happen that way. So it's affecting the rest of the world through air travel and through communication. And now we've got very, very good communication systems via internet. So, you guys are doing online classes. You don't even have to go to classes anymore. So we are reaching out. Education can reach out to a lot more people. And so goes to businesses because of this communication ability. You can reach out to a lot of people. You don't have to fly to China to discuss about the project. You can sit in your office in Malaysia, you can sit in your bedroom in Malaysia and talk to somebody in China via Zoom, via Webex, and then later on you will communicate via WhatsApp, via WeChat, and then you can actually do your document sending via WhatsApp, you can do your document sending via email, Things are so much easier and so much more. But with that easiness, it comes a lot of competition. Used to be people cannot do because of the distance. Now everybody can do because there is no physical distance that can stop you anymore. So you see, global economy is actually affecting the rest, everybody, not just regional, not just nation, not just national, not only our Sarawak, it's actually the whole big picture. Okay, so I know this may sound a bit too far for what you are. Thinking at the moment. Most of you are thinking that how am I going to get through IDP? How am I going to get through my FYP tomorrow? And how I'm going to do my project management assignment after I finish everything, and I'm going to be sitting for tests. There's so much things on my mind. Who cares if there's an economic downturn? Well, of course you don't care about now. But you are fourth year. You'll be walking out to the society in about 6 months' time. Okay, in about 6 months' time, everything will be over. You'll be putting yourself in this you'll be part of that world economy, you'll be part of that regional economy, you'll be part of Sarawak economy, you'll be part of Malaysia economy. So as young people, you really should spend time reading a lot of topics of interest. Economy is actually a very interesting topic. I love economy. I mean, I just feel like it's so interesting because it's like something move, like there's a little bit of movement in one area and then you get to see a lot of chain effect in a lot of areas. We call it the butterfly effects. It's part of the economy, and everybody, can be affected, and it can create a big typhoon or hurricane because of a small issue. Like a small virus now has created a whole hurricane for the rest of the world, So you see, this is something that we really have to be always aware. It's a lifelong learning. It's something that you have to keep on updating and progressing and keep on keep on reading up, on all these topics, you see. So it will sharpen your sense of, it will definitely sharpen your sense of awareness. And from that awareness, you can catch whether there may be a price increase in material, whether there may be a shortage in laborer, whether there may be delivery delay in terms of materials, all sorts of things that, you may feel like your project is your project, and why would other things affect it? But unfortunately, it does. We are all part of the economy. One pandemic keeps everybody at home. One pandemic keeps construction site from moving as it should be. One person on site getting COVID can cause a whole site to be closed for the next 14 weeks. One MCO can cause all the delivery of material from overseas and also goods from KL and JB and all that to be slowed down completely. The harbor is not working, the shipping is not working, and here people need to line up for all the overload, and all these things will create price increases and create delay in transportations. There's so many effects, it can have, you see. So if you're just sitting down here doing your own things, closing up your ears like a little ostrich, you probably will be hit by these things, and when it hit you, then you react, and that is what we call crisis management. But if you actually are aware and your antenna is very, very high, not the antenna that you sit in the coffee shop every morning and listen to all the uncle and auntie talk about the latest gossip. And when they talk about the latest gossip, they also sound like they are, economists and also doctors and also, intelligent people. They are intelligent people, but those information may not be verified, so we have to be careful. So this is not sufficient to do that, okay? So with the screen, with the world news right in the palm of your hands, you can really just read up by pressing the internet, call up Google and say hello, it's like, hello Google, hello Siri, can you tell me what is basic economics term? Can you tell me what is the latest development? You just like that, everything is at the palm of your hands, and you can actually update yourself quite fast, So please don't waste time in that sense, I mean, you are fourth year, you're not year one, okay? Okay, so economics terms deals with all these terms, okay? We talk about inflation. Inflation is about the supply of goods and the cost of the prices of goods. If you have a good modest inflation, it tells you that the country is slowly growing. People are actually slowly, nicely at a pace of having good income. And with that good income, they can demand for more things. And when they demand for more things, there will be a point that supply will be a bit lower and the price will increase. And that's how we look at inflation. And then if the inflation goes up, price goes up a little bit from $1 to $1.20, $1.10, all these things are quite normal. But if one day there's inflation that, your $1 yesterday can buy you a packet of Maggi, but tomorrow suddenly your $1 can't buy you even a sweet. then something is very badly wrong here, and that inflation is very unhealthy inflation. It's very sudden. It shows that your money has dropped in value and to a point that there's no value. So, like in after World War II, no one wants Japanese yen. So you can have a whole, you want to buy toilet paper, you have to wheelbarrow a bucket of money to buy toilet paper. You want to buy banana, you have to wheelbarrow a whole wheelbarrow of money to buy yourself a bunch of banana. And that's how bad the inflation was. Nobody wants Japanese yen. Okay? And but I say healthy inflation, normal inflation, yearly inflations are normal. Okay? And that has to be balanced out with the growth of money, and it's just like saying that, the next terms that we're going to go through is interest. Interest rate, interest is about money that will, that is made to work, okay? So if you have money sitting in the bank will lend the money out to other people who needs money, and they will charge them some price for the lending of the money. So say if you put in the bank, the interest rate is 5%. No more such a thing. Now the interest rate is only 1 point something percent. Okay. So it means that the money that you put in the bank will get you a return of extra 1 to 2% in today's Malaysian banking environment. Then the bank will actually take the money that is sitting there, and they will lend it out to people who are in business, who need personal loan, who buy things and need to pay credit card, all these sort of things. They apply for loans, car loans, housing loans, and all that. And so those money will be paid to the bank with interest as well. And that is about a 5% interest or a 3%, 5, 6, 7% interest, depending on what type of loan that you are having. So then the bank will actually earn the in-between. So that's how we look at interest, okay? Interest rate, interest. So it's about money that is being put today in the bank or in some form of growth, okay? The money growth, okay? That is interest. So if your inflation is a lot faster, a lot more than your interest, then there's going to be a tip of balance, okay? Meaning that even though the money that is growing, the growth of money in terms of interest is not fast enough to buy you the goods that you will need in the very near future, because the goods is growing faster. The money, the price is growing a lot faster than how much money that you can earn, the growth of the money from interest, okay? So interest is a concept that you all really have to be aware of, because it's about the growth. It's about future money. It's about current money becoming future money, and it's about today's dollars and tomorrow's dollars, okay? So you're thinking that what on earth is that? Isn't a dollar a dollar? Yes, a dollar is still a dollar. 10 ringgit is also 10 ringgit. I put a 10 ringgit in the box on the ground. It will still be 10 ringgit when I open it up 10 years later, okay? That piece of paper, if it's not being eaten by the worms, it should be still there, okay? In a nice way. But you have to understand that $10 today will buy you, let me see what $10 can buy me. It can buy me a meal of Golomi and Desipang Teh Tarik, okay, in Kuching. Okay, maybe it will also be able to buy you wonton mee and teh tarik in KL. Okay, I'm not sure. Maybe not. It's probably just wonton mee in KL, and in Kuching is probably, it should be a nice bowl of golomi with seafood and teh tarik. Okay, so today it can buy me that. 10 years later, when you open that money from your money box under the ground, you dig it out, 10 ringgit, and you want to go shopping, you may realize that you can only buy yourself golomi and you can't have a drink with it, okay? And that is inflation, okay? That is inflation. And the interest there, that has actually changes the value of your money. So money is not only that face value, it's the intricate value of what you can exchange it for. So if you ask my parents, who are in their 70s, they will tell you that in the old days, they go to that electro house, they can buy like what 50 cents. 50 cents can get themselves a good bowl of noodle. Okay. When I was doing my primary school, there's a shop that is selling some kolomi, and I think you can order a 50 cents kolomi, and $1 would be like quite a lot, and I used to eat a lot, so I always want to buy $1, and they will give you a few pieces of char siu with $1. Okay. And if I look back now, that bowl of $1 is now about $5 now, okay, or 3.5 or 4 for 4.50. So you see the growth for the past 30 years. Okay, so that is it doesn't happen overnight. If it happens overnight, that is really wrong. That is really bad. If it happens over 1 year, it's really bad. That kind of inflation is talking about price instability already. But you see, 30 years up until now, that is the growth of that bowl of noodle. So it is like yearly it grows, kind of thing. So today's dollars and tomorrow's dollar and dollars that is 10 years later is different. So as our project, today we start building at 2020. And like a lot of you in IDP presented that you are actually using 3 years to build the project. Do you know that today's dollars and 3 years later, the dollars are actually different? If we're talking about 3 years, 36 months, the value of it is completely different when it comes to 3 years later and 5 years later, based on reasonable interest. Okay, and that interest is tied very closely with inflation. So every year there will be inflation, there will be a number, that actually be calculated between the interest and the inflation. Okay, and that's how you calculate the value and the growth of money. Okay, so I'm not sure whether I put the word interest somewhere here. Not in this lecture, okay? Yeah, but yeah, I've already explained the concept of interest, okay? Right. I mean, it's probably in another note, okay? So here, there's other thing about economics, employment. You really play a lot of employment. If you have a good employment rate, there will be inflation. And if you have low employment, it's not healthy for the country. Unemployment is always an issue for policymakers all around the world to actually tackle. Okay, it's about hiring people. Okay, monetary policies is about interest. Okay, monetary policies is about the money in the money market. Okay, the supply and demand of money in the money market. So if there's a lot of people spending, a lot of people are using money, and people are earning good income, the economy itself is like a chain reaction. So you have a very good positive monetary market, you have a good money market, and that is usually a boom. That is usually a boom, as in there is a economic rise, okay, in the country or in the region. So if let's say now everybody's thinking, it's COVID time, and next month I may not have salary. So this month I have to be very careful with what I use, Instead of eating 3 meals a day, let me eat 1 meal a day. Instead of having like veggie, meat and chicken and soup, I think I better eat just one veggie, So then your buying reduces, meaning that the money that you're supposed to be flooding 30 ringgit into the market every day, you're flooding only about 5 ringgit into the money market every day. So that is reducing, and that will slow down the economy. Okay, that will slow down the economy. And if the economy becomes really slow, there's not much growth, businesses reduces. And when businesses reduces, there is less demand for facilities like shopping malls, like shop lots, and then people who are unemployed will start to have problems with paying their loan, housing loan, car loans, and all that. And that will slowly pull down the economy, and you will have a crisis. So that is an economic crisis. Okay. And so these are monetary market. Fiscal policy or budgetary policies are dealing with government program on spending. So every year you've got this, like every 5 years you've got this Malaysia plan, and every year you've got your prime minister standing there, looking very handsome with his tie, talking for hours about how to spend taxpayer money. So those are budgetary policy. So if the government says that they are going to be cutting down on spending program, then you will know that there's a lot of engineering projects that will be cut, no more, KIV until things are better. And then income policies deals with wage control. Okay, you have people who said 900 is the minimum wages, and that will impact businesses and impact other things that goes around with the businesses as well. You see, so the business will have a reduce of money that they can use to do business, and then that will actually affect a lot of things. But it will actually improve people's spending power and all that. Okay, and external policies deal with foreign policies market, meaning that money from foreign policies, like USD to Malaysian and all that. So that one is basically a basket full of currency. Okay, and that is dealing with foreign exchange market. Okay, current account is not not our current account. This is economics current account, meaning import and export. If your current account is deficit, means that your import is actually more than your export. And if it's a surplus, that means that your export is more than your import. Okay, so these are some of the economics terms on the macro level. Are we clear on all this? I mean, these are just an idea of what macroeconomics is dealing with and how it affects engineers. Okay. Can we have let me have a check. Let me look at the chat. No, nothing in the chat. Is everybody sleeping already? Huh? I feel like I'm actually talking to myself, completely like a mad woman, and I'm not sure that if you guys are listening. Okay. Is everybody okay? You want to ask any questions? I always believe that if you have an elective that you need to take from other faculty, I think if I were you, I would definitely. I mean, we don't have a law department. If I have a law department, I'll go and take law. If there's no, I would take economics. I would take accounting. These are the two areas that I think is very, very good, very, very important to engineers. It has a very great influence to engineers. Okay, and accounting as well. I mean, I myself, I would say that to run a contractor firm, to run projects, you need to know your accounting. Consultancy firm, you need to know your accounting, and with your accounting, the taxation and all that, you also have to be very clear. This is a lot of issues. It's better to know it and understand it, and then leave it to accountants. Okay, I'm not saying that you should be an accountant, sit down and do your own balance sheet and profit and loss account and all that. But at least when you are being presented with the profit and loss account and the balance sheet and all that, you understand what is cash flow. You understand all the concept here. So I think that is very important. Okay, for you to be clear about that. Okay, and for you to understand all the terms, and people talk about it, you understand. Okay, so the more you understand, the better you are in certain position in order to manage your project and also to carry out decision making. Very important. The word I want to emphasize here is decision making. A lot of us are being delegate with decision making. People will call you up and say, "What do you think? Should we go ahead with this?" Do you want to order now? Do you think the price will increase? You see, all these are actually so important, okay? So, uh, so all these are so important for you to actually um, make decision and make it with a very logical, make it in a very logical way, make it in a very fast and decisive and accurately as well. That will be making a project manager a good project manager and a lousy project manager, and just a very mediocre project manager. If a good project, a bad project manager will never know how to make decisions. They will and they will go back to their office, start a committee, sit down, discuss, and get a consensus decision. Those and then take about a month or two to make a decision. That is poor project management. And a medical project manager is basically you will take time to study all your facts and figure, and you don't think too much. Whatever that is presented to you, you study it and you make a decision, and then you consult maybe some people close to you or in the project, and then you go ahead with it. Those are very very medical way of doing things. A fast decision maker is you have very good instinct, you have very good instinct to the outside world, and you have very good instinct with your own project data. You are very aware of things around you, and you can make a quick, fast, decisive decision in a very short time and make it accurately. Those are what we call an excellent project manager. Okay, and you want people like that. Okay, you want people like that. Those people like that will help clients make lots of money, and at the end of the day, be priced at a better price in terms of their value. Okay. Any questions? Okay. On a very on a very micro on a more micro level, meaning that nearer to you, like very closely to your heart, will be project evaluation in terms of economics. And this happens during the conceptual stage, all the way down to development stage of the project, to the point the client finally give a project a go ahead, okay, and decided to fund it and put money into it. And we call it, there's two studies that we normally will do, okay. One is called the financial viability studies, and one is called the feasibility studies. Financial viability studies is basically under the finance bit of things, so I didn't put it in these lecture notes, but I think you should know it is about the company's ability to pay for the project. It's about financially whether you have enough of capital and how that capital actually works out to be, like whether it's going to make money or not, and how much money it's going to make, and over what kind of period, how long, and all that. So those are what we call financial viability of the project. Okay, it's a financial viability studies which includes the client and mostly includes the client's own cash flow and the ability to fund the project, and of course how much profit that you are going to be making at the end of the day. And it's all about cash flow. When is the money coming in? When is the money going out? And how long you can last without money in and all that. So these are financial viability studies. Okay. Feasibility studies is about whether the project itself is a good one. Why do you want to do this project? Okay. Why? Personal reason? Is it a good time? Is it a good economic environment to do it? Whether it is a good opportunity, or are you taking a very big risk? what makes the funder wants to go ahead and do it, okay? Sometimes it can be for very personal reason, like personal achievement, and it can also be because of culture. It can be because of national identity. You know, there's a lot of reason why people embark onto projects, and you should understand as an engineer why your client wants to embark. So at the end of the day, it's about their motivation. What is it behind them that gets them to do it? Okay, and the why do it now? You know, you can do it next year. You can do it earlier on if you want to. Okay, why wait for this year 2021? You know, why did you should proceed 2020? Why don't you wait for another 6 months? So what is it deals with again on the macro level. This will deal a lot with demand, supply. Whole economics environment is being demand and supply. Is there a demand now? Do you expect improvement in demand in the next 2 years? And that's why you want to start the project now. Because if you start the project now, 2 years later, when you finish building it, it'll be just nice. There will be a spike in demand. So is it a risk? I mean, like, are we really predicting? No, we're not really predicting. We need to be aware of the economic environment. We need to be able to make rational, sensible decision. And that word rational, sensible decision is very important. You know, why do it now? You know, is it a favorable time? Okay. Do you have any other option that may be more favorable, maybe better in terms of money making? Okay. So the decision must be rational. Okay. So this is a decision-making model that will make economic rational decision. And we talk about economic rational decision. Also, you have to remember that not only the macroeconomic will affect your project. At the end of the day, your project will contribute to the macroeconomy as well. You know, when you build shop lots, it will contribute to businesses around the area. It will contribute to the congestion of roads. It will contribute to the usage of utilities. It will be contributing to the usage of the highway, the road, and all that. It will have an impact onto the economy as well. So in terms of making economic rational decision, we need to look at benefit, all the benefit in terms of that private organization, how much money that you will make, and also the other economic, social issues and consequences and benefit that you will have from the project. If you are building roads, the land the value of land may be improved. Okay, there may affect future businesses. These are all part of the economy. Okay, it will affect the lifestyles of people, and that is social. That's why we talk about social economic studies. It's so much a part of any feasibility studies in the conceptual stage of the project. And now do you understand why I actually yap on about you guys trying to find out what are the demographic, what are the purchasing power, what are the prices of houses around, you know, what are the market like, what are the targeted audience like of your product. This is things that you must know, you must have data. And we engineers, we love data. If you have no data, it's going to be based on what? Instinct? Is it going to be based on feelings? Is it going to be based on maybe? Is it going to be risk that you're going to take? A risk is actually calculated, Non-calculated risks are rubbish, They are just guessing. They are just prophecies. Anybody can profess, I can say that the world will end in 2022 December. But if it doesn't end, I can crap out another stories and say that, because God has decided to give everybody a chance, you see. So we're not talking about prophecies here. We're talking about data. Data that will give you hardcore information, a true information, a good data, a good sample with the population to make you make good rational decision, not only technical but social economic decision. Okay, so you must know what is the objective, what is the motivation, and then what are the modes, what are the means that you can achieve this, and what are the benefits, what are the costs in terms of everything, every sense, technical, financial, economic, social, everything. Every benefit is a benefit, every cost is a cost. You need to price it down. Then you evaluate whether the benefit is actually better than the cost, and then make some decision based on that. So we make economic rational decisions. So our conceptual studies that includes the feasibility studies is about whether the project should do it now, do it this way. Can there be a better way? And these are the reasons why you want to go ahead with it now or next year or the year after. And it's about how you're going to spend your client's money and what are they going to get in return. And that combined with financial viability studies will make a big picture about the money flow of your project. Okay, so this is where we are actually going on into a project evaluation method. So the economic appraisal, which we will do it especially for public funding, is the same as a feasibility studies that you'll be doing it when you are working with a private client. So with a private client, we'll probably be talking about feasibilities, financial viability studies. Okay, but if you talk about government-funded project, you'll be talking about economic appraisal. When you talk about economic appraisal, because many of the government projects are not expecting money to be returned back in terms of dollars and cents. Okay, in terms of benefit that is from the profit of the project. Yes, pipeline do collect revenue, no doubt. Okay, but there's going to be a lot of operation, maintenance, and things that the government needs to look after before the government will own the project, and before the people, I mean, it will make the people life better. So those are economic appraisal. Not everything can be calculated into dollars and cents. The nation's health, there's an index. The nation's social happiness, there's an index. Okay, many things can be affected, but they cannot be translated into dollars and cents. You know, your people's education may be improved. Your people's quality of life may be improved. Your people's health may be improved, you see? And your heritage may be preserved. The environment can be preserved. So all these are actually things that you cannot define into dollars and cents. So economics appraisal deals with, yes, the outflow of money in terms of capital, in terms of money that you will be paying for the project. It will also be the benefit that you will gain may not be in dollars and cents, and it may be in social, economics, heritage, legal, and all sorts of areas. And that is whereby we do our economic. We call that government-funded or public-funded project. We tend to go for economic appraisal. Okay, so I think I will just stop here and continue with what is economic appraisal, and also some of the tools and techniques that you'll be learning from for the feasibility studies, like net present value, depreciation, cost benefit ratio, MPV, PV, PI, profitability index, and all that. So those are all economic tools or economic rulers that we have. Okay, so this notes here is dealing with more on what is economic appraisal, and the next notes is going to be more on the tools and techniques, and all these are pretty much what we call feasibility studies, because economic is dealing with more of a public funded project that you may actually end up having more of a benefit and cost in terms of non-dollars and cents, and we have a name for that kind of studies. Okay, and then feasibility studies will be dealing with a a lot of more like dollars and cents, more of a profit and all that base kind of ideas. Okay, so I think I will stop here today, and I'll do the QR code and do some uh, discussion on assignments. Okay, if you want to. Any questions on assignments and any, I mean, now I'm sure I don't want to answer any more question on IDP. I think I've already tried to answer everybody who has actually emailed me. I believe I've actually answered all the email. And some people actually ask me, oh, because of I answer her or him or her, and then they ask me, oh, they have already done it that way. Well, what can I say? Are you going to try to get me to approve of what you've done? So it's like you've done it. I've already tell you what I want. You've done it. You've already made good decision to follow through with whatever you've done. Then we all leave it as that, and we'll give you marks accordingly. Okay. So I don't want to talk about IDP anymore. I think you're handing in now, so I think it's too late to do anything really as well. Group 1. So again, I will open all the QR code first, and people who needs to be manually key in the attendance, you wait for a while. Later on, I will call group by group. You just stand by with your name and student number when I'm doing my manual attendance. Don't put it in the chat box because I cannot read the chat box at the moment because I'm sharing my screen, okay, with the QR code. Any questions you guys want to ask in terms of today's class or the assignment, please, by all means, just ask verbally because again, if you look at my screen, if you put it in a chat box, I need to go and click the chat box and that will affect the whole screen, okay? Group 2, stand by your QR. Okay, go ahead, Group 2. Group 3. We have an hour. Okay, NRR. NRR people. NRR. Any more NRR? Okay, no more. NRR, I close NRR, huh? Okay, group 3, anybody who hasn't key in, hasn't punching the QR, okay, 36. Oh, last call, group 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, I off it up. Group 2, last call, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Group 1, group 1.
Link phone Doctor 61306.
No. Manual one later. This is the one that still can use QR one. Just punch in the QR now.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, group 1. Any more from group 1? Group 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5, 5. Okay. Right. Now I have to go through each and every one of the manual one. Okay, civil 1. Civil 1, manual attendance calling now, absent. Ling Long Fong, is it?
Yes.
Who else?
Yes.
Group 1, manual attendance calling. Group 2, whoever needs manual attendance, get ready now.
One no my Sarah.
Anyone else? No. Group 3, get ready, whoever needs manual attendance. Anyone else need manual attendance in group 3? No? Okay. So that's about it. I'll shut the screen and stop sharing the screen. Okay, and look at the chat box for a while. Right, there's a question here. For the project, as in the project management project, right? Can the groups have the same project? For example, group 1 took an IDP project and some other groups also took the same IDP project. I don't really understand your question. So that means your group is not, that you're not in the same, I mean, your IDP group is being split up, is it? So how? I think you probably can use the same site. I mean, I have no objection to that, but if everybody end up having one project, then I'm a bit worried about it now. But if there's only project is being shared by, two or three groups per project, I believe that should be all right. Yeah. Like, can the person traveling, is it, or something like that? You asked me that question. Can you please explain yourself? What is it? What do you mean by IDP project and some group taking the IDP project? I'm a little bit confused here.
What I meant is, for example, IDP project, there's two different group taking the same IDP project for PM assignment. Is that okay?
You're talking about PM assignment, right?
Yeah.
So these two different group, they are in the same group with IDP, is it?
No. Different group for project management, but then take the same IDP project.
Yeah lah. So I'm saying that you are in the PM group, there's 5 members, and 2 of the members are in the same IDP group. Their own IDP
Yeah.
is the same. So
Yeah.
so that means in the PM they are in 2 different groups lah. Am I right?
Yes.
Should be okay lah. I think the level of duplication shouldn't be very high lah. So you have to be careful. If you get the group member for group 1, you have an IDP project, but that same group member, 2 of them are going back to their own PM group, right? And then they're going to use the same project, right?
Yeah.
Can, but you have to be very careful. If the 2 groups end up looking the same, too much similar with one another, you'll be in trouble. Project the same is okay. The writing, the presentation, everything will have to be different.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay. So if you end up like looking the same thing because you get the same information, you copy the paste the same thing, and then when I flick through the assignment, I see the same thing. I will just straight away assume that you guys are copying one another, so that one the marks will be cut on. So be careful with the way that you present the report later. Any other questions? I hope that you guys are actually doing your assignment now. I mean, I'm very worried. No questions usually means nobody is doing anything. Amanda, are you here, Amanda?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah, hi, Amanda.
Hello.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, can.
Do you guys need any documents to sit for exams and all that? Because I haven't set up a time for my year 2, 3, 4 mentee. And I remember you are one of my mentees with Alexan, I think, and Alexander. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I can set up a time to meet you guys for a short one. Do you need any documents from me to sit for exam or anything like that?
So far I don't think so, doctor.
Don't think so, huh?
Yeah. Like the previous sem we don't have to see the mentor to get the approval
Slip.
Yeah, the slip, examination slip. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we just not do it, never mind.
Yeah, okay.
If you and the other, who is it? Alexan, you and who are?
Ahmad Shahir.
Ahmad Shahir, okay.
Yeah.
So the 4 of you, if you have any queries or any questions, again, you can always ask me during the project management class or email me separately
Okay, sure, doctor.
Yeah, I hope to see good results from the 4 of you. Do you have any contact for people who are in year 3 and year 4, my mentee?
Yes.
Oh, you do? Okay. Can you also maybe pass the message to them?
Yeah, sure, doctor. Sure. We'll inform them about it.
Yeah, just say that there's no meetup in terms of WebEx or anything. But if they have any query in terms of their university's live topic and all these sort of funny things, they can always email me if they want to. Okay.
Yeah, we can always email you personally, right, doctor?
Yes, please. One by one. You don't have to confirm all the questions. Yeah.
Okay, sure, doctor.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And Serena and the rest, Diana, Serena, and yeah. So local soliciting for my for the quarterly students under my examination tomorrow will actually be we start at you go in at 10:50, and then you get yourself ready. Okay, settle yourself down, cool yourself down, get all your slides to be opened up nicely and all that, and be there at 10:50, and I will start exactly at 11 o'clock. Okay.
Okay, doctor.
Yeah, just be prepared, and all of you must stay through the sessions because I think you need to appreciate every my comment for everybody in that sense. Okay.
Okay, doctor.
Right, it's going to be 1 hour. So don't just come when your time is here, and then go out, after you finish. I'll prefer to have three of you to be in the session all at the same time.
All right.
All right. Any other questions? Sector FYP, sector my mentee, and sector my PM. And like I said, IDP now talk also too late already lah. So better don't talk lah. All right, if there's any other questions regarding the assignments, we can always talk about it on Thursday. All right, if no more questions, you can leave the room now, okay?